Hi, I'm Steve, AD4XT. Welcome back to Ham Radio Portable. Well, today I plan on hooking up some solar panels. We're going to hook up today some Harbor Freight Thunderbolt Magnum. So stick with me. Okay, this is the Harbor Freight panels that I'm going to be using today. They call this the Thunderbolt Magnum. Sounds more like something you might see at the truck stop, but we're not going to go there. Anyways, this is set up 4 separate 25-watt panels, and I've got an idea. I'm going to do something a little different with this. My friends got some property out here in the country, no electricity, and we're trying to keep some tractor batteries topped off, and he's got several tractors. So let me show you around the place we got here. This is a view of the back side of the box. All the panels together should be 100 watts, and it comes with all kinds of little accessories. Some I won't use, but some I will. Never used the Harbor Freight panels. I've heard some people talk pretty good about them, so we're gonna give them a try. Okay, this is our situation here. My buddy's got several tractors here. Got that John Deere there. Got this one over here sitting in the shade. And he's also got a third tractor. But right now I'm going to just try to work on 2 of them. He has the most problems with these John Deere tractors. You know, you leave them 6-8 weeks and then you run into a situation. But I've got an idea with these panels that I'm going to split them off. So let me show you exactly what I'm doing. Alright, my first step in this process is to run some wire leads from the battery outside the grill of the tractor. This battery here is a brand new one. We just put it in, but I've got my positive and negative hooked up. Not going to put the panels on this one today, but I'm going to show you the other tractor and how we've got it situated. But yeah, run the wire out first, and then we're going to put a connector on it. Okay, I have run the leads from the battery through the grill, through some wire loom there, and I put a connector right here. And this is the connector that's going to be used to disconnect it from the charge controller. I've got the charge controller in this box. Let's take a look at that. Alright, from my connector I go through this plastic little utility box. They sell these at Harbor Freight also. Just made a hole going through, and the positive and negative connect right here to where the battery icon is. And out to the solar panel is this one right here, solar input. And right now it's pretty much fully topped off. It's still taking a charge, but we're at 13.7, 13.8 volts. And we're going to try to keep this waterproof by using this container. And it's going to be kind of just bungee cord or wire tied up to the front of the grill. I do know that you want to try to keep your charge controller as close to your battery that you're charging as you can. I didn't want to run a whole big length of wire that I didn't need to, just very short. So that's what I did here. And from the little plastic watertight ammo can, we'll follow the lead down to where we've got it plugged in, and it comes with a splitter here. This Harbor Freight panels is 4 panels, so they have a splitter. And so what I did is I cut 2 of them off. So I'm only going to use 50 watts worth of panels. I'm going to try to put 50 watts on one tractor, get another cheap charge controller, and 50 watts on the other, just to see if the 2 of them together will at least top off 2 tractors, and then he can swap around. Let's walk over here. I took the panels. I don't like the way the little brackets that come with the panels. So I made just a little, took some 1x4, and the brackets hook together right here. They give you the hardware to hook all 4 of them together, but instead of that I just used some 1x4 on each end, stripped out another little 1x2 on the side, and just trying to stiffen it up a little bit. I think that's going to be better, and it will put less stress on the connectors at the bottom. You see the little blue lights is charging, so run 2 of them like that. I'm guessing that the supports in the back will be just fine to support it if we don't have any super high winds. And yeah, that's a look at it. We got this one over here on the other side of the little pasture here, and we got it pointing directly south. You want to point your solar panels south, at least here in the US, northern hemisphere. So point them south, and it's going to get some good sun over here, so we're going to keep an eye on this one. Okay, I'm back out 1 week later checking on the 2 panels that I've already installed on the first tractor, the 2 25-watt panels here, and everything seems to be looking really good on it. The voltage on this one is at 13.8, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm kind of satisfied with this one, and I'm going to move on to the next panel set I've got. These are the other 2 panels. I framed them up in my shop, and I had to add some additional wiring to them to give it a little bit of length, and I'll show you what we did here. The framing on the other side. The first step is to take a 1x3, 1x4 and cut these 2 pieces off. Cut them a little bit longer than the panels are when they're side by side, about 3.5 inches, to give you room to put this strip here on each side. But the panels are actually screwed down to here. First thing I did is laid the 2 panels side by side on top of the 1x3, 1x4 strips, one at the top, one at the bottom. Push them right together, and you have 4 spots, 4 screws. I use some real short drywall screws and put them in. If you use a drill, don't go drilling down hard. I would finish it up by hand, just snug each one of them in. Just depends on how hard your wood is, but you don't want anything to crack or anything. And then I come back with another 1x3 strip here and just set it on each side. Sheetrock screws there, all 4 corners, and that will give it the stability that it needs when you stand it up. Going over what I did earlier with these 2 panels, if you remember, these panels come 4 panels to the kit, and I cut 2 of them off, and that way it enabled me to have some additional connectors. These connectors here, Harbor Freight doesn't seem to sell them, and rather than putting all different connectors on them, those 2 that I cut off here I will use later, and I'll show you. And there's a couple of precautions you got to remember when you cut them off. This tape here was just where I oriented the positive leads, but let's go look at them. This is the additional charge controller that I picked up at Harbor Freight. Since we're splitting the panels in half and putting half of them on one tractor, I need an additional charge controller. This is just a cheap one that they have, and runs about $18, so that's the only thing I didn't have by splitting them in half. So we'll use this with the other 2 panels. This is where the wire comes out of the 2 panels. 2 wires here, and I've got it put together with a connector, and then I've got it taped over into 1 wire. And this wire will give me a little extra length to stretch the solar panels out, and put a connector on the end of it. As you cut these connectors off, you can reuse them in a different spot. On these Harbor Freight panels, the side that's the shielded covered is the positive side. So remember that when you cut one off. You may take some masking tape like I did and mark your positive side. So always keep the orientation right. And these connectors will plug in to this charge controller. I added these colored tapes so my friend wouldn't get confused and plug the wrong one into the get him backwards or anything. So this will work good for him. I've got the 2 additional panels all set up here, not in the full sun, not quite optimum, but in a couple hours it'll be full sun in this area, with 25 feet of cord. That's going to help reach his tractor wherever he parks it. I did decide to use the alligator clips, the clamps that clamp onto a battery. That way he can use this system and move it over and hook it up to his other tractor. These panels move easily when they're framed up like this. So let's follow the wiring over here. I haven't mounted the charge controller yet. I'm still figuring that out, but as you can see, it's all plugged up and it shows that it is charging. The little yellow light in the center, you don't get a lot of indication. And I color coded the connectors so he wouldn't have any problem remembering where to plug them in. The solar is green, use green for solar, and the battery connection is the red connector, so it should be no problem there connecting it up and getting confused or anything. Looking down at the battery, I just used the clamps clip-on type. That way he can use this for the other 2. And it should work fine. I'm going to find a good spot to mount this charge controller, and I'll be finished with this. Well, that about does it for this project, hooking solar panels up to your tractors out in the field. As I was looking around on YouTube, I didn't see very much involving tractors and solar power. Most of the time they're in barns where you don't have that, but out in the field this may be a way to keep those batteries topped off. Just as you go through the project, just remember the positive and negative orientation as you cut connectors off, because you can really get confused. Use your multimeter and double check each time before you make a connection. But anyway, hope you got something out of that. I did. I learned a little bit along the way. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you again on the next ham radio portable. I might even operate some HF from the tractor. I don't know. That might be something in the on down the line. Everybody take care. 73.